Hi everyone, I am Dr. M. Bhuvaneshwari, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. So, we are going to talk about emotional intelligence. Before we begin, I'd like you to do something with me. Think back to the last time you made a decision you later regretted. Maybe it was an email sent in frustration, or perhaps you shut down during an important conversation. Now ask yourself, what was I feeling in that moment? And did I truly understand it? That gap between feeling and understanding is exactly what we are exploring today. We are talking about emotional intelligence, not as a soft skill or a buzzword, but as the foundational ability that shapes how we think, behave, learn, and connect with others. Over the next 30 minutes, we will unpack what emotions really are, explore powerful frameworks for understanding them, and leave with practical techniques you can use immediately. My goal isn't just to inform you, it's to give you tools that change how you show up in your personal life, your academics, and your future career. Let's start with a truth we rarely acknowledge. Emotions are not the opposite of rationality, they are the fuel behind it. Every decision you make, every interaction you have, is filtered through your emotional state. The question isn't whether emotions affect you, they absolutely do. The question is, are you aware of them? Are you managing them? Or are they managing you? Research consistently shows that emotional intelligence is a stronger predictor of success than IQ alone, not just in relationships, but in academic performance, leadership effectiveness, and mental well being. Daniel Goleman, who popularized this concept, found that EQ accounts for nearly 90% of what sets high performance apart from their peers. So today, we are building a skill test, not just theory, practical emotional competence. Understanding emotions, the anatomy of emotion. Before we can manage emotions, we need to understand what they actually are. Emotions aren't just feelings floating around in our heads, they are complex psychological states with three distinct components. First, the subjective experience. How you personally feel it. Two people can face the same situation and feel entirely different emotions. That's the subjective layer. Second, the psychological response. Your body reacts, anger races, your heart rate, fear triggers cortisol, happiness releases dopamine. Your body is always speaking. The question is whether you are listening. Third, the behavioral or expressive response. What you actually do. Do you withdraw? Do you lash out? Do you freeze? This is the visible tip of the iceberg, but it's driven by the two layers beneath. Let's look at the common emotions we all recognize: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, and disgust. These are our building blocks, but here's the thing, most of us are emotionally illiterate. We know we are stressed or upset, but we can't name the specific emotion with precision. And if you can't name it, and you can't tame it. Emotions matter because they guide decision making, influence behavior, and affect every relationship you have. They are data. They are information about your needs, your boundaries, and your values. Learning to read the data is the first step towards emotional competence. Dr. Robert Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions. So let me introduce you to a tool that changed how I think about emotions. So here's the reference and you can go through the reference. This wheel helps us understand something critical. Emotions don't exist in isolation. They blend, they combine, they create complex emotional experiences. Plutchik identified 8 primary emotions arranged like colors on a color wheel: joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, disgust, anger, and anticipation. Just like primary colors mix to create new shades, primary emotions combine to create secondary and tertiary emotions. For example, joy and trust combine into love. Trust and fear combine into submission. Fear and surprise create awe. Anger and disgust create contempt. Take 30 seconds. Look at this wheel. Think of an emotion you felt strongly this week. Can you trace it back to its primary components? What two base emotions created what you felt? Why does this matter? Because most of us process emotions on a subconscious level. We feel overwhelmed, anxious, or frustrated, but we can't verbalize what actually happening inside us. Projects gives us a vocabulary. It lets us say, I'm not just angry, I'm feeling a mix of disgust and anger, which is contempt, and that tells me something about my boundaries being violated. When you can name the emotion with this level of precision, you gain control. You move from reacting to responding. The feeling wheel. This is the deeper emotional literacy. Building on Plutchik, let's look at the feeling wheel, another powerful framework that breaks emotions into primary, secondary, and tertiary layers. The feeling wheel does something beautiful. It shows us the intricate web of emotions we all feel and how they are interconnected. It's not just about naming emotions, it's about understanding their relationships. Here are 6 ways this tool serves us. First one, it facilitates effective communication. Instead of saying, I feel well, you can say, I feel inadequate or I feel lonely. Specify building builds connection. It encourages mindful reflection. When you pause to identify the exact emotion, you create space between stimulus and response. The third thing is it supports emotional regulation. You can't regulate what you can't name. The wheel gives you the vocabulary to self-soothe effectively. Fourth one, it helps you identify emotional patterns and triggers. Over time, you'll notice every time my manager gives me vague feedback, I feel anxious. That's powerful self-awareness. It and the fifth one is it enhances emotional awareness, not just of yourself but of others. You start reading the room differently. The sixth one is it improves emotional literacy. Your ability to read, understand, and respond to emotional information. The goal here isn't to become an emotion expert overnight. It's to start building a richer vocabulary for your inner world. Because the more words you have for what you feel, the more choices you have in how you respond. The vibrational emotional scale. We can call it emotional hierarchy. Now let's look at another perspective. The vibrational emotional scale, this concept suggests that emotions exist on a spectrum, from lower vibrational states like shame, guilt, and fear to higher vibrational states like love, joy, and peace. The idea here isn't spiritual fluff, it's practical psychology. Your emotional state determines your cognitive capacity. When you're in fear or anger, your brain literally narrows its focus. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking, becomes less active. You go into survival mode. But when you shift to higher emotional states, curiosity, optimism, love, your brain opens up. You see more possibilities. You think more creatively. You collaborate more effectively. The scale reminds us that we can intentionally shift our emotional state. You don't have to stay stuck in frustration. Through awareness and technique, you can climb the emotional ladder, not by suppressing the lower emotions, but by acknowledging them and consciously choosing where to focus. Next, building emotional competence from awareness to skill. So far, we've focused on understanding emotions. Now, let's talk about doing something with that understanding. Emotional competence is the ability to effectively manage and respond to emotional experiences. It's the bridge between I know what I feel and I know what to do about it. Competence says competence means you don't just recognize anger. You know how to channel it constructively. You don't just identify anxiety, you know how to regulate your nervous system. You don't just feel empathy, you act on it appropriately. Emotional competence is built through three things: practice, reflection, and feedback. You can't read your way into it, you have to live it, miss it, reflect on it, and try again. Every emotionally difficult moment is an opportunity to build competence if you choose to engage with it consciously. Developing emotional maturity. Emotional competence leads us to emotional maturity, the ability to handle situations and emotions with perspective responsibility. Let me share four characteristics of emotional maturity. Check yourself against these: ability to delay gratification. Can you sit with discomfort now for a better outcome later? This is the foundation of discipline. Second one, adaptability and resilience. When plans change, do you bend or do you break? Mature emotions allow you to adapt without losing your center. Responsiveness instead of reactiveness. This is huge. Reactiveness is automatic. Someone pushes, you push back. Responsiveness is conscious. Someone pushes, you pause, choose, then act. That pause is where maturity lives. Accountability for emotions and actions. Emotionally mature people don't say, "You made me angry." They say, "I felt angry when you did that, and here's what I need." They own their emotional experience. How do you develop this? Three things. First, reflect on experiences and learn from them. After every emotionally charged situation, ask, what did I feel? What did I do? What did I do differently? Second, practice patience and mindfulness. Third, build strong, supportive relationships. Understanding emotional intelligence. Now, we arrive at the core concept, emotional intelligence or EQ. Daniel Goleman defines it as the ability to perceive, use, understand, and manage emotions in yourself and in others. Goleman model breaks EQ into five components, and I want you to hear these carefully because they map directly to the techniques we'll discuss later: self awareness, self regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills. These five components work together. You can't skip self awareness and jump to social skills. It doesn't work. EQ is built from the inside out. Benefits of high emotional intelligence. Why invest in this? Let me give you benefits personally and professionally. Personal benefits: improved mental health and well being. When you understand your emotions, you are less likely to be controlled by anxiety, depression, or chronic stress. You build psychological resilience. Better stress management. Enhanced self awareness and personal growth. You stop repeating the same patterns. You start choosing your responses. Academic and professional benefits. Better teamwork and collaboration. Emotionally intelligent people navigate group dynamics with ease. They read tensions before they explode. Greater success in managing conflicts. Conflict is inevitable, but with EQ, it becomes predictive. rather than destructive. Techniques to improve emotional intelligence. For self-awareness, journaling, mindfulness practices, feedback from others, self-regulation, stress management techniques, positive reframing, empathy, active listening, engaging in perspective taking exercises, social skills, practice effective communication, engaging team. Understanding emotions and building emotional competence, maturity, and intelligence are not optional life skills. Rather, they are essential. They enhance your well being, your academic performance, and every relationship you will ever have. Understanding emotions Understanding emotions and building emotional competence, maturity, and intelligence are not optional life skills. They are essential. They enhance your well being, your academic performance, and every relationship you will ever have. So, here's my challenge to you: pick one technique from today, just one. Start small, start today. Because emotional intelligence isn't a destination, it's a practice. And every moment of awareness is a step forward. And follow your feelings through Plutchik's wheel to name an emotion and follow it through someone's feedback. So repeat the same every day. Thank you. Thank you.